those who support, those who don't. And okay, we live. Cool.
Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, guys. So here we are. I'm with one of my good associates, my battle buddies, the king of battle, and I would be the queen of battle. But that's more of a military coinage term that I wouldn't want to go on. And the reason why we brought up battle was for the sense that everything you do in life is a battle. And you got to ask yourself, what are the standards that you want? What should you have? This conversation came up yesterday. And literally, shout out to Screen Learning. He always has amazing insight that I feel like it challenges people, whether they're willing to arise to it or not. Some people felt a little bit offended, while some people felt like they were being challenged. And so I said, Screen, how do we want to handle it? He said, open up the floodgates. Let them come in. Let them say what they feel, because then we'll know who's serious about it or not. So I'm definitely all for it. I'm all for the conversation. Not just for anybody and everybody can come up. Launch a cordial and respectful, and we can have the conversation. So the conversation today is going to be about the warrior mindset. This is something that has to be driven or beat into you and pushed into you. I have that mindset. Screen has that mindset. I know quite a few people that I affiliate with. It's a mindset of literally ain't nobody going to get it but me. And the only person who's going to be accountable for me is me. So we are here. What's going on, Real Dana, and what's going on, Cyberline? And so this is why we're here. I will be dropping it, but I know we got a few warriors in the chat, and we're going to be building up. Share the video. Let's get it out there. But I want any and everybody to share this stuff about this one right here. But I asked y'all about feminism, and a lot of people went into like a mode of not wanting to fight or compete. But woe is me, says it's the world. I asked, what can you do? Who's willing to put up the money to fight for the policies? It got quiet. I asked who was willing to actually raise their lively standards, get a better job, a different livelihood. It got even more quiet. So I'm like, if you're not willing to fight for what you want, then why are you then you're just complaining? How do they say it? It's put up or shut up? So literally, it's the warrior mindset, competing to conquer, not to complain. This is going to be up to you guys on how y'all feel about it. We're joined here by Screen. Everyone like the video. This is open to all of y'all. You already know, you guys. This is going to be something that right here should be one of our classics. This is going to be one of the classics right here. So we about to do it again. We have a whole series of questions literally for you guys to talk about, that we're going to be talking about. We always go through our rapid rounds of literally talking about any and everything. So with no further ado, pass it over to my co-host for right. What's going on, Screen?
What's going on, BMT? Thanks for having me. Thanks for having this topic. I think we definitely need to hash it out, especially after not just what happened yesterday as far as the video, but what's been happening a lot. And that is, there are a lot of people who have learned helplessness, accepted powerlessness. They want to hinder someone else to make themselves feel bigger than what they are, similar to how the government and different groups have had to come together and hinder the progress of us. And we have to take pride in knowing that they need to handicap us, they need to disable us for them to be prosperous. So we should take pride in knowing that they have a head start and we're running to catch up to them. Every time one of us, or just anyone, catches up to those who have a head start in the race, we should take pride in that, because we're having to run over and navigate obstacles, whereas Others are given head starts. They're giving handouts, giving leg ups just so they can win. So when we catch them and we beat them, not only are we good, but we're better. So when we start to defeat ourselves with talk, with mantra, with wanting women, for example, to be less than, when we have mothers, sisters, daughters, and we want women to be less than just so we can feel powerful, it reminds me of something. So if it's all right with you, I'd like to give a shout out to something.
Go ahead, fam.
So I like to give a shout out to, because this argument has been going on for a long time. So I want to give a shout out to the movie The Color Purple, because this is pretty much exactly what we're seeing play out when it comes to social media, where you have Albert, Mr. was holding back. Forgot the woman's name.
Was it
Celie?
Celie?
Celie. Yeah. So Albert was holding back Celie, keeping her from getting letters from her sister, and he was doing that to keep her suppressed.
Right.
And see, he was basically suppressing her, have her do work for him to feel bigger and better. And when she found letters from her sister, that's when she became empowered. She became a better person, and she was able to be a productive member of her family. And that's what we have to understand, is it's all about family. So I'd like to read a quick excerpt from The Color Purple to start off the tone. It won't take too much time. So
go ahead, brother.
She'll be back. Sing, she got spunk and can talk to anybody. She can stand up and be noticed. What you got? You ugly, you skinny, you shaped funny, you're too scared to open your mouth to people. All you fit to do is be Suge's maid. Take out her slop jar, maybe cook her food. You ain't even that good a cook. She's a lot better than that first wife you married. This house ain't been clean good since my first wife died. Nobody's crazy enough to marry you. So what you gonna do? Hire yourself to farm? Maybe somebody will let you work on their railroad. Maybe sweep out their caboose. Any more letters come? Could be not. Who's to say? And so Celie says, I curse you. Until you do right by me, everything you think about will crumble. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And so the reason why I go through that is because that's what we were hearing yesterday. Right. Where single mothers are to blame for everything. And I know people are going to be like, oh, well, you're simping. Well, guess what? The gangs in Chicago, you could blame single mothers all day, but how many women gangs are there? Women aren't teaching men to rob, kick in doors. Even if you don't raise someone right, they have to learn how to rob from somewhere. Robbing somebody takes a lot of work, a lot of courage, even if you do have a large group. Pulling that trigger with looking someone in the face, even when your face is covered, it takes a lot to do that. And you have to be trained, just like with soldiers in the United States Army, you have to be trained.
Right.
So the thing is we're blaming the wrong people for the ills of the world when men run the world. No matter what the community, what the race, men run the world. Men are the one doing the action. Men are teaching other men, and men are the ones who are ultimately responsible for what this world does and fails to do. So we as former soldiers, BMT and I, warriors, we need to talk about the warrior mindset and how to get away from being defeatist in nature, defeatist in tone, and be more like leaders instead of being like loathers.
That is, and y'all gotta understand, man. Because I know a lot of people always say, and shout out to Screen for going over that of the color purple. That a lot of people like to mentally keep you handicapped to think that you can't. That's why I'm always about my business. That's why, and hell, Screen was one of the ones who helped me change up the name for call it business minded talk. But at the end of the day, you got to sit down to yourself and say, I know my situation is bad. I know I'm not in the predicament I want to be in, but how can I readjust my life and fix it? And so even when it comes to that, of when I was a soldier, you would have your rucksack, and we all remember our rucksacks, and you would have all the stuff you need right there in your locker. Now, they're not going to look to the man to the left or the right of you. They're going to say, why did you not pack your rucksack? You can't go wrong if you pack too much, because, I mean, shit. I mean, if you needed something extra, you got it. But if you didn't bring what you needed, that's on you. And so I had to stop blaming, and I've lost a lot, man. I told you, I used to pick some pretty bad women to lay down with. Now, that was nobody's fault. That was mine. But I chose that type of environment. I used to run around with fools. But see, I was running around with them type of fools. When I started building my standard, started learning how to actually say, hey, man, Joe, instead of you being out there in the street, you need to be home, save your money, be accountable. I was being told, why are you thinking like a white boy? Why you think you better than us? Well, correction. I was going to be someone better than you. Why? And see, they will shame you saying, well, you think you separate. I am separating myself, because we need to understand that there is going to always be the warrior mindset of those who are now starting to get ready to fight. And there's going to be those of the bystanders who want to just sit by and wait to see what happens. I'm not waiting to hope that some woman comes and licks my wounds. I'm just going to go out there and fight and keep swinging. So it's not so much of me as a man, but listen, I want to see anybody go run up to their parent if they want to. I mean, you can, and say, you know what? Fuck you. You're the reason why I'm failing. You're the reason why I'm failing. Now, I understand there are some situations why these things do happen. And yes, they do. But I've heard a lot of stories and heard a lot of goddamn ABC Family goddamn biographies of boys born in foster care. And literally, even when they were being beat, abused, treated like less than a human being, now they are politicians with a whole family. I heard women that had their whole insides almost destroyed and literally have a whole family and are nothing like their mama and daddy. Why? Because they chose to fight. They chose to say, I'm not going to let my circumstances keep me from fighting. And so here we have it right here, and we throw out the first question. Let me make sure I grab the first question. Question 1. Does feminism hinder manhood? I will take a sip to that first.
So while you sip to that BMT, I don't know if you want me to tackle that first. Open up the panel.
I'll open up the panel.
So first,
the question. Go ahead.
I gotta evoke my right to ask a Negro, what is feminism? Let's define what it is, because people go all around the mulberry bush on what it is and is not, but we've never really defined what it is. So let's define what it is so we can break down why we as men shouldn't worry about what ants do.
Now that is, he did ask a Negro, and that we shall do. So let us get it cracking on Ask a Negro. Ask a Negro is the one time during the show, whenever you ask a question of a word, we, the host, we have to look up the word in the proper diction and definition of the word. It's not up to us to hear our doggone word, but we have to ask that Negro, hey, what is that word? So let's go ahead and pull it up. Take a look in a book, ask a Negro. And the word is feminism. Ooh. In a book, ask a Negro. Ask a Negro. God damn, boy. That was the best jingle we ever made. So, feminism, the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes.
All right. So, should equality of the sexes hinder manhood? The answer should be no. If you're saying, well, equality of the sexes keeps me from being a man, keeps me from competing, then you're wrong. And here's the thing. So let's just say a corporation decides to hire a black woman over a black man. We can't be upset with what someone else does or does not do because it's not your corporation. We have to focus on being men and understanding that we need industry so that when Nick Cannon comes out and decides to speak his mind and tell his truth, he has somewhere to work. We have to have our own industry, our own businesses, so we can do things the way we want to. So if black women are infiltrating ranks of white businesses, getting jobs, being able to provide for their family and bring in money, we shouldn't stop them from bringing in money, point blank, period. Because we need our own. We should no longer want to live on our knees begging for the crumbs of someone else when we can have our own industries like Black Wall Street, have our own businesses, so we can start to have generational wealth, generational money, and generational business. Now, I got it. In the past, things were burned down. The government was against us. Poor groups were against us. Racial groups were against us. That's why we should take pride in running the race behind, catching up to them and beating them, and moving forward with progressing towards a regime change. There's a regime change all the time in different countries, and you're not going to get there by blaming everything on someone else, such as saying, well, it's because of black women or single mothers. That's the reason why I can't get a job. So I'm not going to apply for a job. I can't start a business because of single mothers. All these excuses make us look weak. They make us sound weak. And if we're mentally weak, we will still be mentally slaves, like Kanye was saying.
So, and that was so beautifully put. My answer is no. Feminism does not hinder manhood. It does not. I kept trying to tell y'all that for the longest. But that's the case, and all those guys out there that are literally running around, shooting, beating, killing, running. I'm like, tell me, what society does women run in the United States without them having to go to a man for permission to do something? So literally, that means they're going to a man to go get a law passed. They're going to a man to go get a law passed just to have a hairstyle. Like I'm trying to help y'all understand. Listen, men, you've never lost your power, baby. You're just afraid to be a man in your own manhood. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest, man. How does a woman run your life? That means you mentally gave her that power over you. Unless you like being a cuck, unless you like being some kind of BDSM like fawn boy or whatever, bussy boy. I mean, that's on you. I'm not judging you. I get it. Some of y'all like being little Jodies. that like living up under a woman or mama, whatever is your preference. So you need a woman to discipline you and keep you in line. Fine. But don't be talking trash in your basement saying that because of her, no. You're afraid to get out there. You know how, like, as me and you grew, as we got older, we had to understand when I was a child, I did childish things. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. I had to go out there and compete in the hot sun. I had to go out there and bust my chops with the rest of the men. Being a man is not easy. Why do y'all keep comparing y'all struggles of being a man to that of a woman? I don't menstruate and have no damn period. I don't bleed no eggs. I get up and I bleed out there in the sun, blistering hot sun, working my ass off, doing my job, taking care of the government and the state is so hard. You know what? Do you want to know why they are hard on you? Because they have a standard that literally you are the builders of the world. So that means the pressure on you. It's the same pressure on the employee as it is on the boss. No. Because when corporate comes down, they don't say call in that employee that takes out the trash. No, they say call in the boss. And if you ain't going to be the boss, you got a problem. If you're going to be a man, you need to go your own way and do your own thing like I did. I left. I went to Job Corps. I did boxing. I went into the military. I did a whole lot of shit on my own. By the time I came back, then I took on a woman. Y'all are doing things differently. You are more worried about the female agency rather than building up your own agency as a man. Started out with 10. There was only 3 of us left. By the time 3 of us left, we were in our 30s. We already had our own shit going. The rest of the other ones, the other 7, they were like, hey, hook a brother up. No. You had the same chance like me. You chose to lay up under that girl on that mattress on the floor. You chose to chase, to go prove to that guy that was talking to your girl at the club that you were a man. So guess what? You lost your life. You lost 10 years of your life. You now are on child support. And I mean, hey, I don't talk down on no man on child support, but understand this. You literally could have made profound moves with your life. Every man is going to, at some point, they're going to get hit with a rut of fuckery. What you choose to do or how you choose to man up in that situation is differently. Either I was taught this as a young man. When that police officer gets in your face, my father told me, shut the fuck up. He taught me about authority. A man's supposed to learn how to check his emotions. I'm not seeing that anymore. I'm seeing men not in control of their emotions. You're allowing the woman to dictate you. That's not manhood. That's not. These women, that's not your woman. Give her, if she has your last name, that's your woman. These women out here in the street, that's not your woman. I was told that by an older man. Does that woman got your last name? No, sir. Does that got your last name? No, sir. Does that got your last name? No. Why the fuck you watching what they do? That was an older man, 78 years old. He told me that 10 years ago. He said, that ain't none of them are your woman. I said, well, sir. He said, you see my woman? She's in the car waiting for me. Don't be coming down here fighting for some woman that ain't your woman. Don't be coming out here talking about a woman that ain't your woman. That ain't none of your fucking business. You're trying to pick up something that is never going to respect you. That ain't going to help you. We're joined here by MOT and also Red Pill Finance. Are you really into finance, Red Pill? Are you really doing finance, or you just your name?
No, I'm for real, man. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, but I was here yesterday, but I had to go to work, so I had to leave.
Okay. So let me ask the question. Whoever want to take it first. Does feminism hinder manhood? My answer was no, because my manhood is not hinged on feminism. But we can have y'all answers. Whichever one, go ahead.
I guess I'll go first. To be real, I agree with what you were saying. It really depends on the man and him knowing having the information. If you don't really know how female nature works, well, you're gonna end up losing at the end of the day because, like I said yesterday, we got these emotional men out here that are not acting in their natural way, and we got females that know game taking advantage of it. So at the end of the day, as men, I stay focused on whatever you're trying to build on, and then you just progress over time. And when you're done doing whatever you're doing or whatever profession you want to go to, then you can get the female. But I mean, me personally, I do it. I'll rather do it in between
Hold on. I got to
sometimes.
cut you off because I think we're getting off track. So you're saying that feminism is making men effeminate?
Yes.
How does feminism make a man effeminate to where it makes a man act like a woman by having equality
Like
of sex?
BMT said yesterday, even with him, I mean, he was in the army. Me personally, I don't think I would have had done that in that setting. But if you see a female and you at work with her, why can't you talk to her?
No, what does that got to do with manhood?
Yeah, that I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're deflecting because men should be men no matter what's going on as far as equality of the sexes. You know, if a woman wants to have a try at being in the infantry, cool. If she's strong enough to go through the different metrics that are involved to allow her to be an infantry man in, let's say, the army, that shouldn't make the men who are already there less manly. Their manhood shouldn't be hindered just because a woman is there. If their manhood is hindered and they're effeminate regardless of feminism. So access to women, dating women, should have nothing to do with manhood. We as men should be men regardless of what's going on. So I don't know if you want to kind of like start again but it's about man. This question's about, does feminism hinder manhood? Not does feminism prevent you from having relations with a woman?
What exactly would you consider manhood? We get like an example.
Well, it's a state of masculinity, being tough, being assertive, being a leader, being
Oh,
strong.
you don't see that in men today. You see females running that relationship most of the time.
Well, we're not talking about relationship. We're talking about manhood in general.
Yeah. What do it got to do? Your manhood has nothing to do with a relationship with a woman.
Oh, what you like stand on?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things about it that we're having issue with. Like we generalize a man of being a man. It's like if a man don't have a woman, then he's not a man. And I'm like, what? Yeah, if you don't got a man, that makes no sense. If you ain't got this, then you're not a man. If you don't got a car, you're not a man. I'm like, wait. How does that equate to my manhood?
Okay, I see what you're saying. I mean, I'll say as long as you have principle and you have values, I mean, feminism can't really hinder you because it protects you from things that they try to bring onto you. Like, since you know the game and you're in your masculine frame, they can't really run game on you because you already know.
But what is the game? What is the game that deals or hinders manhood? That's the thing I would ask. Like, what game hinders manhood? Like,
You don't know game that females run?
I don't listen. Ain't no
Just
game
female nature in general on how they are.
But okay, but how can a woman run game on you as a man if you are
But the thing is, we have emotional men out here. That is the thing. We don't really have men progressing to do better out here. We have emotional men that are with these females.
Rep Hill Finance, no disrespect, but it seems like you have an agenda against women, which that's your business. That's cool.
No,
but
I don't.
Well, the thing is you just said that feminism does not hinder manhood, and that's pretty much it. Like, as far as men being effeminate, why a man's effeminate, we could go into that, but it's really does equality of the sexes, as far as whatever is unequal, does that hinder somebody being a man? And that's it. Like, we as men should be men. We should be masculine. We should be tough. We should be strong in our conviction. We shouldn't let women who are a weaker gender, somewhat considered a lesser gender, we shouldn't let them hinder ourselves in being masculine. Because when we do that, then we become less masculine and I guess effeminate, as you're trying to say. I'm just having a hard time understanding, does feminism hinder manhood, which you've already answered, but it sounds like you're trying to expand on it.
Me personally, no. I don't let it hinder me.
I can sum it up with my answer.
Go ahead, MOT. Go ahead.
How's it going, everybody? It's man tomorrow here.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me on, though. Does men who's beside you on the right?
I'm screen learning. I'm screen learning.
Oh, I don't see the names.
Hang on, I'll take it down. I'll take down the. Go ahead. There we go.
Okay, screen learning. All right. I don't think I've been on with you before, or maybe I have and I haven't in the past. But for me personally, and I know this may how this may sound, but feminism. Joe, put the question back up.
Yes, sir. I got you. Real quick. Here we go. Does feminism hinder manhood?
As long as you was raised and cultured by actual men, no. But does it stand in the way of niggerhood? Yes.
Go ahead.
So you have to realize that you have to realize that you can actually do without most of this shit that can actually cause you a lot of harm within society today. You can do without this shit. It's just that people have dressed up the actual access to women is something that they should go after rather than masculine achievement. Masculine achievement is what manhood is about. Feminine access, the only people who need that close feminine access to a woman that early is animals. You're not supposed to be operating like a goddamn animal out here. Like, it takes a long time to be a man, dude. It takes a long time to learn a trade, be competent at it, probably get paid from it, to be trusted with it. That takes a long time and a track record with it. So it's just that we need to step up manhood to the level that everybody else is at, so that way we can pull ourselves forward. And it's just that my upbringing was from my great grandfather. Like, it started that long ago, handed down to my grandfather, handed down to my dad, and like me. And so, like, my grandfather, he never treated. There was no such thing as sons and grandsons. There was sons and non-sons.
Right.
It's like, it's either you're here to learn or you're not here to learn under my roof. That's the way it works. So you have to realize.
Oh, go ahead. No, I'll let you finish. No, I got to ask you, MOT. So you were raised by your grandfather, which I think is great because you got a chance to see what a man is as far as an example. Yeah. But I didn't really get a clear answer. Do you believe that feminism hindered manhood? Because it seems like you're saying that feminism did not hinder your manhood, which I think that kind of go ahead.
No, it's just that my definition of manhood is not based on whether feminism exists or not. Okay. I wasn't ready at 17 or 18 years old to even be thinking about a family.
Right.
Like, you're supposed to be married, like, in my culture, by like 28, 29. Given that you did all the shit that you were supposed to do. So you were always supposed to be out of college. Your lady was always supposed to be well on her way within her career field or something else and still feminine and able to take care of people within the environment. So, like, between the ages of like 24 and 28, within the culture that I was raised, that's where you were supposed to get married.
Okay, BMT,
military, and it happened a little bit earlier, but go ahead.
Well, BMT, I gotta evoke asking Negro for manhood so that we're all on the same page, because I kind of agree with what MOT is saying. But before we proceed forward, I think we need to have, just like we did feminism as far as a clear definition of what it is, I think we should understand what manhood is so we can start to set the standard and the tone for this thing. before MOT finishes and before the show goes, if you don't mind, sir.
Not a problem. Welcome to the show. Welcome, everyone. This is an open panel talk. We do have a series of stuff that Screen Learning has accumulated. We usually do this where we have an annual multitude of discussions, if y'all trying to figure out what we're doing. So they're not just one discussion. It's actually a multitude of discussions of everything that we have accumulated over just talking points, and we literally go over all of them. So literally, we do welcome you guys for coming through, because literally, this is y'all time to actually have this set discussion on these kind of things. So let me go ahead and pull up Ask a Negro. Ask a Negro, which anybody can invoke, is when we actually bring up the proper word, and we cannot refute it, but actually pull it up, which I literally feel like it is much more easier than arguing. And literally the word is manhood. There we go. Ask a Negro. The state or period of being a man rather than a child. A men, especially those of a country, regarded collectively. Qualities traditionally associated with men, such as courage, strength, and sexual potency. Manhood. So, there you go. Literally, that's why I try to tell y'all, you have to grow into your manhood. I'm from the South. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of my teachings from the South. You don't just become a man at 15. No. Or I had a baby, so that makes me a man. No. You have to go through certain trials. Saying that I just had sex with a bunch of women, that doesn't make you a man. Doesn't. It's spoken off of the deeds of what you have done. The courage that you've shown through adversities, the strength to stand and actually stand on your beliefs. You know what I'm saying?
But didn't you hear part of the definition was sexual potency?
Sexual potency. Well, I don't want to just base it off of. Let's just say I've seen some gay dudes literally conquer a lot of crazy shit in the world, and ain't nobody doggone trying to check them. We've had Alexander the Great, and that man literally one of the greatest conquerors in the world. I doubt we're going to actually what he does in his bedroom. I could give a fuck about that, but I'm just saying there's been some interesting people throughout the mark of history as men that have done some. I know y'all get squeamish as black people, like, ooh, listen. In other words, you having master command over your sexuality, you having the strength, the courage, you having the traditional aspects of what you as a man are potent on in your belief. Those are there's a trifecta of things as a man that you stand on. I get this, but I've seen men over in different countries and literally like in in Africa, when certain young boys get a certain age, they kick them out the village. They're not allowed back in the village. They have to go out there and forge their own. They're not allowed access to the women. They're not allowed access to the food or anything. You think it's pretty cold. Only thing that they get is you get a doggone whatever's in your hand and whatever's on your ass cheek at the time. That's all you get. So the time I was there for 4 months, I didn't see that young man come back until like almost 4 months later. At the end of he came back. This man had scars, scratches all over him. He had all kinds of shit. He wasn't scrawny, but his muscles were more defined. In other words, I can tell the look in his eyes he had been through his trials and tribulations of what to survive. You understand? So yeah. He had the wisdom to understand who he was. Like the man came back and had some. He had some. I think he had a boar. He killed the goddamn hog out there. He said, "Hey, I need some help bringing it back." They had a nice little young thing waiting for him that they were gonna marry off to him and everything. but he had went through the trials and tribulations to earn that said respect amongst his people. And we sat there with him, and we, you know, us soldiers, we patted him on the back. He's, I'm a soldier too. I said, yes, you are. Yes, you are, sir. When I saw the marks, and I think he got shot, even. But the thing about it was, he earned his stuff. He earned his right. And see, the thing about it is, in manhood, you have to build your way to that. There's a define. It's like a moment of where you just know, like, yo, bro, I can stand on my own shit. In the infantry world, we have a thing to show called Stairway to Heaven. Okay, we have to walk 23 miles, night and day. If you get tired and you falter, and they put you on the truck, you fail. But for those of us who make it through blistering heat, our feet all cut up and burnt up, you know, I couldn't even feel pain anymore. Couldn't even feel pain. I couldn't even feel. I don't even know if I peed on myself or not. I don't even know. All I know is I just had to keep on moving. And then after that, we made it to the top. Now, Stairway to Heaven, it's a half a mile staircase. I'm sure Screen Learning seen it. But when you make it up there, in the cold night air, there's nobody. Only people there on the top of that mountain are just men. They're only just men up there, like older veterans, generals, just men. They got the fire going, everything, and they literally are like they tell you, okay, drop your bag, and then they take these pins, and it's called bleeding. It's called bleeding the badge, and they take the pin and they stick it in your skin, and they punch your badge into your skin, so you bleed. And they say, "Welcome, brother." That to me was I never listen when I say something. Tears roll from my face if I had any to fall from my eyes, because you could not tell me shit about my journey, because I earned that right to be up on that mountain, just like all my other men and forefathers. You get what I'm saying? So I didn't give a fuck about a woman. I didn't give a fuck about my wife. I didn't give a fuck about anything. All I knew was I got there on my own strength. And so when I do the things I do, I always think back to Stairway to Heaven. So, but I see now a lot of men don't think like that anymore. They think that pussy's is the virtue, or the game is what it would guarantee you that you're a man. So that's sadly how a lot of people think. So I didn't mean to go on a rant tangent, but I'm just showing y'all that was an old tradition that they used to do to a lot of men in the service. It was like a birthright into being in that field. Every from the artillery, they got their trials that they do. There was mine. I'm sure for lawyers, y'all probably have something that y'all do to prove that, hey, either you're in or you're not in. You understand? So if you're not, he was going to tear up and start saying some crazy shit. But no, he was telling y'all straight up, like, no, like feminism didn't stop his manhood.
Exactly.
You know, he didn't stop his manhood. So Nichelle, that was the question. You know, I didn't mean to get too long of tangent. We got a lot of stuff that we're gonna go on.
Yeah, and I know you like to do like an hour and cut it off. This is great, but you know what? I have to cut you off, BMT. But this is great. If we do cut it off at an hour, everybody go support a Black-owned business. Go to BMT's Patreon, become a sponsor, and hear the rest of the conversation. If he decides to go to Patreon, stop being a freeloader. To support him, being in the chat and commenting is not enough. Support, definitely support. We got to hold him up because he helps support the rest of us. He comes to our panels. He comes to our channels. He supports our content. Support him and return the favor.
So, and thank you.
Yeah, man. I just got on your Patreon, man. I didn't even know you had one.
No, like I said, the Patreon members, they have so much say so in our content and what we do. That's why a lot of them like being Patreon.
So what they choose the topic? So like you just
Yeah, a lot of them do.
okay.
A lot of them do, as they should, because they're paying for it. Michelle, does feminism hinder manhood?
It depends on the definition of manhood. What I'm saying is that the
Oh, he
changes
went over
that
it, Michelle. He just went over it.
right. I'm saying it depends on the definition for a reason because many people consider the changes in the laws regarding marriage and child support as example of feminist legislation that castrated manhood.
Right.
There's a strong push to end no fault marriages because many men feel like that emasculates them, that they have no choice in the matter, that if a woman files for no fault divorce, she can just take half and go about her business. Many men feel that, the fact that a woman can decide whether or not to have an abortion or to have a child, while a man is relegated to the point of just being forced to pay child support, whether he wanted the child or not, is taking away from his manhood. So
But
those
Michelle,
are
well, the reason I gotta give pushback is because we're talking about feminism, not legislation. So if a man feels he's been emasculated, that's on him. But is his manhood taken away from him through legislation?
it can be just like your freedom can be taken away from you by legislation.
So
I mean, there's nothing.
what legislation
There's
keeps a man from being a man? Because child support takes care of his children. So, but that's kind of deflecting towards something that
No, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the only way feminism can really hurt a man. At the end of the day, legislation. Cause like everybody here was
so
saying,
legislation can take away a man's manhood.
I'm going to exit out for just a second to get my volume back.
Okay.
Okay. So you're saying legislation can keep a man from having manhood?
I mean, no, that's the only way feminism can really affect a man. Cause that's a
manhood.
feminism movement.
Well,
That was their
manhood.
pushing.
We're talking about manhood. And I hear what you're saying about feminism can, because you can legally get out of child support if somebody wants to go down that route. But just, I don't want to dwell too much on the first one. I'm sure people will make
I see what you're saying.
But I think we should stop. I think we as men should stop letting obstacles make us feel like less than men. We should take that as a challenge. If legislation is put against you, we should change the legislation to support men's rights. If we're going to go down that route, we shouldn't just complain and accept our situation that we feel is unfair. That kind of goes more into manhood. Whereas if there's something you don't like, change it, go against it, don't accept it, don't whine about it, because no one's going to stop you from being a man or keep you from your manhood unless you are a mental slave and you accept. So I'm sure Red Pill Finance wants to respond, and then after that, I don't know if BT, if you want to go to number two. I know you don't want to make it longer than an hour or too long.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to disagree with what you're saying. You're actually correct. As far as that is concerned, as a man, you should just focus on whatever you need to do to get to where your bread is, But I mean, as far as like becoming that person, because I actually know a couple of people who actually think like that, like as far as like you're not a man if you're not in a relationship, or like you have females if you're not actually pursuing females, like people who actually like focus on whatever they have to do to get to where they need to go. Those are the people who actually are like in manhood.
Okay, so let me hit on this next one. So number two. Do you see marriage as a business, a burden, or both? Do you see marriage as a business, a burden, or both? And I want to tell y'all this. Thank you Thank you, Anand, for putting out the Patreon link. Again, you guys, and I want you to understand when it comes to looking at the for a lot of the content, and I would always strongly urge y'all to come and join the Patreon. Literally on the Patreon. Let me go ahead and pull this up for y'all. The reason why we're so adamant about the Patreon is literally it helps us control what we as the people want to talk about, want to go over. I just started it and it's already doing very well. Shout out to the new member that just joined. But literally, we have a lot of said discussions. We have a lot of we have posts. We also have it where the members, they get to come up with talks. We literally just now did stuff about Red Pill, the Kanye West presidential talk. We also have the panels where the members, they pay for that access to discuss these things as they should. You know what I'm saying? We have it where they're a lot more exclusive, a lot more sexual and verbal, but there are conversations that we can have where you're not so filtered. Only for $5, just for $5, as you can see right there, just for $5. Literally, you can actually come through and actually chill, talk about what you want to. So come through on the Patreon and actually enjoy. I'm trying to tell y'all, just come through, enjoy. It is up to you. The BMT Patreon page. Thank you, and y'all have a good one on that. Now, the next thing that we have to hit up on, I don't think Patreon is one of the best ways these content creators to monetize ourselves. That's the thing about it, Aaron. I've been shadow banned so much, man. I've been shadow banned so much. Like literally, I let the Patreon members. I think our first show really killed it. That was really crazy. And we went a lot into the depth of talking about manthers. And literally about women who are in a relationship with manthers. That was pretty interesting. I plan on later on, wink, wink. We're going to be going over women and men that are selling, their bodies for high dollar value. We'll be going over their prices, their ratings, as well as their models of what they are doing in the market. So, like I said, but that's something that I really save for the Patreon users. That way they can talk about it. So, I want to bring this over to Nichelle. Let her start it off with this one. Do you see marriage as a business, a burden, or both?
It has to be both.
Go ahead.
A successful marriage has elements of a business, and it has elements of a job. I mean, there are duties. Anytime you have duties, that's you have rights and responsibilities, and you have duties. So that's one of the things that it's very hard in 2020 after you have a ruling by the Supreme Court that says marriage is just a union between two people, and it doesn't matter whether they're male or female, as long as those two people want to unite their finances together in the name of love, that's marriage. So when people talk about the decline of the family now, you have to think about it, that what the gay community was actually fighting for was retirement benefits. That was the only thing that they could not get. That's the element of being in a business, is that you have an exit strategy, that those retirement benefits, they survive. They will survive your death. So the marriage is over, you die, and your spouse continues to have income, a profit potential. So yes, people who go into marriage, who are fighting for the right to get married, we're fighting for the business side of marriage. And the burden of it was that part when you say till death do us part, because you would have to make the decision, medical decision, life decision. And recently, my biological mother just passed on Sunday, and her boyfriend of 41 years could not make that decision as to whether or not she should be pulled off life support because he was a boyfriend and not a husband. They did not have the benefit of marriage.
Uh-huh. Now, so let me get it over to you, Red. Is marriage a business, a burden, or both?
I would consider marriage as a business, but I mean, in today's society, I guess a lot of people see it as a burden because 50% of most relationships or marriages fail. But as far as me, I feel like it's a business because as a man, I feel like I should be able to have my woman to be able to make plans for the future and start building like businesses and stuff like that. So I mean, at the end of the day, the way how marriage is structured, as far as like in the court of law, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business. I mean, I don't really, I mean, love do play a part, but at the end of the day, you signing that contract is mostly used for business because you can have a relationship and it still work and you still doing your thing. But when you get into a marriage, everything is tied together. And I don't want to bring it to another subject, but even with Jada Pickett and Will Smith, I honestly feel like they're still together just because they have so much like between each other as far as business is concerned. So at the end of the day, I see it as a business.
Okay. What about you, Screen?
Just want to take a quick detour. MOT was saying that today was his 42nd
Yep,
birthday. Happy birthday to him.
Um,
Yeah, shout out to him. So to me, marriage is both. It's a burden because the only responsibility that a person has is to their children and significant other. And the great way to leave them wealth is with a marriage license. The great way to leave them generational wealth is with a marriage license. And we definitely need to stop creating illegitimate children. And you do that by having children while you're married to someone. So marriage is it can be both. It's basically a tool, like a firearm. It can be used to take a life. It can be used for defense. It depends on how you do it. But it's a business, and it's a great way to ensure that those who you leave behind benefit, especially if you're talking about different things associated with marriage as a business, such as life insurance, such as having a say-so in your remains for your spouse. I got it. There are some people who they have terrible marriages, but there are people who have businesses, they're business owners, and they have terrible businesses, and they stick with it because it still provides like a burden. So I would say that marriage is both a business and a burden.
Okay. We're joined here also by Mr. Research, but I'm gonna answer it really quick for me. Marriage. People say there's no love in marriage. Then why the hell are you getting married? Like that's crazy to me, and that is mind-boggling. I mean, unless you're being forced to, or you're being put into a joint partnership, which literally, I guess you're just obligated to our duty. But I got married out of love, and I said that because that means I'm gonna go harder for what I want to invest in. It is also that of a business looked at by the state. Here, I'll mute up. It is also looked at as a business by the state. Who got that going on? Just mute up. I got noise going on. It's a business also looked at by the state. For you to get a marriage license, you have to pay for that. For you to get certain stuff done, heck, just for you to have a wedding or get a pastor, you have to mostly pay that pastor for the most part, and all the other stuff. So you're already financially starting to invest in that person. Business wise, because you're actually talking about a joint growth of wealth. That child and anything that y'all accumulate is now being looked at, and also and it can be summarized as to investments. I don't see it as a burden. That's a fool thing right there. Like it's only a burden when you're not working together. If you're my partner and we're working together towards a commonality goal, then yeah. But if you're miserable and you got X, Y, and Z and y'all got money problems and stuff, then yeah, it's a burden because you're not doing good business. You never should get into business with somebody who is not literally working towards the same hindsight goals as you are. This is why I said there's a certain discipline of setting up of power in the household, and I don't like these kind of talks. Like, I have times where I want to go buy stuff, but I'm like, oh yeah. She'll say, like, we need groceries. Yeah, but I'm the man of the house. Okay, congratulations. But as the head of the house, guess what? Your priority to the business is to make sure we have supplies. You understand? So I have to make sure that the funds get properly allocated to where they need to go. Clothing, hurricane season's coming. Proper wares for doggone, making sure that the kids are fine, she's fine, gas, insurances, property. All these things have to be put into account. So yes, it is a business. Somebody also said that, hey, I'll just go get a paperwork. Paperwork don't mean jack shit when it comes to life or death. If you're in the hospital and that's your girlfriend, but that your girlfriend pulls out a paper saying, well, he signed and said that I have the right. The doctor's like, get out of my face. Who's his next of kin? That's all they're going to say. Who is the next of kin? Next of kin trumps everything. So guess what? You ain't the next of kin. You just a booty call with a paper in your hand. Take that shit to the Lord. So if that man is still married, but he's dating you, I don't give a damn if you sucking and fucking and riding him and you popped out 20 babies. But the minute his wife walks through that front door of that hospital, she just overrid all of y'all. Mama.
Did you see what happened to Eric Garner's baby mama?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
she got Trump.
How you say membership has its benefits. The wife, she got the $5 million for his death.
The wife did, not the girlfriend. Not the girlfriend. It goes to the family. The family. So understand, family is a business. Family is a business. Now, how you deal with that, because I guess some people say the family is a burden, then I don't know. You probably going to have to do a lot more better with how you manage your family. But to me, marriage is a business. And that's how the world views it. That's why they make heirs, and you will generate a son. You will make the next of heirs. It's a business. It's keeping up the legacy. Go ahead, Mr. Research.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So here's the disconnect. First of all, as far as the paperwork is concerned, the gentleman in the chat is correct. There's something called head of the estate, but BMT has a superior stance because judges will allow kinship and or lineage and or wives to make an argument against the paperwork. So many a times you will have paperwork, but judges tend to sway toward lineage. They don't, if their paperwork is only good if there's no lineage in place. So let's just make sure you understand that in the chat room. The thing, unfortunately, we're talking about, and shaming black men is a little good. It's a little good because that's how we become warriors. When we realize that our sword is not as sharp as we're telling everybody it is. And here comes an equal warrior or superior warrior saying, no, I can take that sword out your hand right now because you don't understand how to use it. This is what we're talking about. It's difficult for me and BMT to talk power to a lot of people because a lot of us are bastard makers. We're not lineage makers. A lot of us have no control over our penis. So we're busting nuts everywhere and we're hiding on panels discussing as if we don't have real problems at home. Most of your black YouTube superstars are divorced twice. children by several different moms, yet they come into circles and act as if everything's good. Remember, shaming is a little bit good because now we get the pretenders out of here. When it comes to what BMT is talking about today, you don't have to apply to marriage at all. That's my stance. But you do have to vet and lead every decision you make. You can't keep asking these women or a business partner to go 50-50 with you on everything and you don't have no leadership skills. It's hard for me and BMD to have these conversations because we're talking something from the days of the Egyptians, the Celts. We're talking how uh, people in Turkey make business moves. We're talking about how people in Japan make business moves. And here comes the ADOS man with his own theory that nobody else uses. I feel has nothing to do with the law, has nothing to do with court, has nothing to do with documented power. And that's why it's so hard to get a lot of guys to understand, because we hang out in circles that make us feel good. But in reality, black men are lying to each other here on YouTube and the internet. Now, here's the proof. For all you truck drivers out there, the Indians are taking over. The Pakistanis are taking over. Why are you guys running out of contracts? Yeah, some of y'all are making money, but you find it harder and harder because the Indians have decided to form a conglomerate and they take business from y'all. Let's talk about the plumbers, because it's all about get a trade. Me and BMT will tell you, hey, yeah, get a trade, but you need to manage this stuff. No, I don't need to manage. I just want to go work my job. But 5 years later, you're finding out the Irish people are squeezing you out. The Russians are squeezing you out. And now you used to make money, but now everybody don't want to give you a position. And you thought that as long as you had the skill, it was good. And then you get somebody in the chat room. Oh, he hating. Well, guess what? I'm a corporate dude. I make close to 6 figures. I got a 26-year career. I got 5 certifications. I can't be touched. So you don't respect my wisdom?
One of the things that
this is the problem.
You're right.
Let me finish. This is the problem, gentlemen. And you don't have to follow us. You don't have to follow us. But we need to see a 5 or 7 year proven track record that your stuff works, because you're misleading other black men on stuff that is not powerful. Black men are not taking over, gentlemen, and we need to be. Our women are the financial and business superiority in the minds of a Japanese guy, a Chinese guy, a guy from Turkey, and that needs to be fixed. I share the mic.
Well, also, I was going to say on the business side of it, and this is one of the things I have seen adamantly lacking in the ADOS experience, is that when I hear brothers talk about, she got a job, I got a job, we working to build our empire. When I hear white people, Hispanic people, when the men are talking, they're like, my wife is arranging a dinner. She's introducing me to some people. And that whole networking skill, the idea of socializing, using your business partner, your spouse, as part of your networking experience to build your business through mutual contacts, to grow, socialites, so to speak. I don't see people using the black marriage to do that. It's kind of like, well, we'll just put our money together and spend it. It's like, okay, what other things do you bring to it? Because other groups like the stability of marriage. If you'll do right by your wife, you'll do right by your husband, you'll do right by us in business. We forget those social skills, that business side of marriage. That's just my 2 cents worth.
I understand with that. A lot of companies and a lot of corporations do take that into consideration of family, because the first line of community in business is home. Whether y'all want to admit that or not, if you can't manage your bills, if you can't manage life in your home, if you can't manage this, they take that into accountability. Actually, most federal jobs, they will ask for your personal information of your livelihood. Do you have any domestic violence? Do you have any court cases open of child support? Do you what's your credit score? Well, I've heard that plenty of times. They want to know how you financially, what you're doing with your credit. Do you have any marital issues? Do you have any marital issues?
I think we're confused as black men about get the bag. A guy who only makes 500 a week is amazed by getting 3,000 a week on a hustle, but isn't looking at how long is this hustle going to last. A guy who is used to getting this, that, and the third in the rap game, making mixtapes. I saw Chopper from MTV in Atlanta. This guy has not been on the scene for years, but he makes 50,000 a year going from city to city doing mixtapes with people, even to this day. Goes to Japan, everything. But the way he lives is so bottom poor, meaning that he'll make the 50,000, but he'll go rent a suite in Atlanta for maybe 2 G's a month, because the guy who owns the suite ain't really making no money, so he's just going to take it. And so Chopper lives in such a way that you think, oh, he's doing it. No, he makes 50. There's YouTubers on here who stay in small apartments. I know all this behind the scenes stuff. Small apartments where you take 6 steps and you're through the whole person's house. Yet they make 60, 70 grand on YouTube and they're living like a king. Well, they don't have none that they're spending. Well, Mr. Research, ain't that a good thing? It's a mirage. It's not real. And so when we come back to marriage, you don't have to get married, but you do have to vet women. You do have to take more of a 60-40 leadership role. And I guess my message is, you can't 50-50 things through life, gentlemen, and have people respect you. I'm not married to this day because I vet women hard. And just like the lady said, arranging dinners, and I do that on my own. So the woman I'm picking, I've turned down many a women you guys would love to have sex with. But guess what? Her mindset is not on the business level that I am. Therefore, I'm going to keep looking. That's the whole point. And that's what black men got to get to. Power first. Does this woman fit in your circle? Vet her. Stop getting amazed because she's 20 and currently has a hot body. That may go away at 45. And then you mad looking for another 20-year-old.
That's true.
I just wanted to make sure everybody didn't say anything. I wanted the rebuttals, so that way nobody want to say nothing to me.
Well, I want to say one thing.
I got to be careful. I didn't want to get cut off this time. So I didn't want to get trouble. It seemed like, and then, okay, let me read the chat. The chat. I've been reading the chat for a while, and everybody's been having a lot to say about family. Like Scream, we're gonna have to do a talk about family sometime, or was family. It's like a lot of people spoke about the family thing. Get a job, build your capital, start your own business, or back someone else who is. Stop the hustle shit. Jethro, it's time to change that for us. We need life insurance and at least 1,000 in the bank. That is basic. I would agree. Nikki Max is right. What did you say, Jethro? Did you just up there?
Jethro's been basically speaking a lot of defeatist commentary, saying that most of us don't have this, don't have that, which is fine. But I like Mr. Research because he's speaking power and strength, not
Now,
making excuses or blaming single mothers and women for that's the reason why this or that. So I like that. But yeah, Jethro is talking different talking points that basically paints us as defeatist in nature and learns helplessness, accepted powerlessness. So Amanike, Mama Max, she supports me. She's kind of addressing him and letting him know that's basic. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for the number 2. If you want to go to number 3, whenever you're ready, BMT.
thank you. Thank you. Do you appreciate the hunt for things to give you generational wealth? Yes, I like fighting for my generational wealth. That is why I do not look at family as a burden. I don't look at any of my things I do as a burden. But I understand, listen, the struggle that I have had trying to get the community on board, Black men on board, Black women on board. I said, the hell with all that dumb shit. I'm tired of trying to teach y'all. They are my priorities. All of this. What I do with that, that's my generational wealth. I battle for that daily. I've earned it. I've earned that right. Like, I understand that people got mad at me when I was talking about family and that, hey, you're going to have to, like, right now I have emails that I have to go over because we have a school board meeting. I got 3 school board meetings to decide whether I'm going to have 4,000 kids come back to school. I don't get no break. YouTube is about to go back a little bit, push back for me for a little bit, because I got other things that have to secure the financial as well as the lifestyle that I provide for my children. See, one of the things about it, and I hear this a lot. I hear this from men and women. I want to live my life. I want to go out there and party. I want to go out there and be told thank you. I want to pump and fuck and make money and do X, Y, and Z. No, son. No, boo-boo. You are no longer the individual. You are now a collective. When you start a family, you are no longer a singular entity. When a mother eats, is she just feeding herself or is she feeding her and that child? When a man makes $1, is that dollar just his or is that dollar the family's dollar? You see, that's my mentality that I have. Because that's how I think. If I get $20, I'm only going to get 2 of those dollars. I'm going to get 150. The rest is going to them. So I said in the video, I don't look at success. With them getting good grades, being on at the top of their list, meeting the mayors and different people, me networking for them, setting them up, my children don't have to wonder, damn, when I get certain age, where am I going to stay? They can just knock on daddy's door. Dad, can I work for you for the summer? But I'll use some of that money and I'll go to school and rent out one of the houses. Sure. It's yours, son. It's yours, baby. You don't have to ask me because that was the whole purpose of why I did what the fuck I did. So when you're ready to go take you and your woman and y'all leave and go out there and be on your own, keep the pyramid going. I've already started the base. Now you just have to keep building up until one of y'all get to the pinnacle of top. I'm not going to hit the millionaire thing. I'm just not. I'm realistic because we're coming out of the poverty level into skating out the middle class. And now we got pandemic antichrist here. So now I got to work 3 times harder. So guess what? I have to make 2 times of that generational wealth. So that way, when they get ready, they won't have to. A lot of Black people are never given generational wealth. What they're given is generational debt. And literally, you'll hear it where people say, well, fuck, I can't get a light in my name, but my son can. I can't get a lease, but you know what? My son, research, he can. You know what? I can't get a car in my name, but my daughter, Nichelle, can. And so we have this mentality that our children are no good, but just for putting them into generational debt, not wealth. So I appreciate the fight for doggone generational wealth. I see there's a difference between rich and generational wealth. See, a lot of y'all, you're not really rich. You're well off. I'm generational wealth. So I'm good. She's about to start a business. Hang on, let me show y'all right here. Let me show y'all a little secret.
So while BMT steps away, I'll just go ahead and go until he gets back. But oh, never mind. He's back already.
These beds right here cost $1,000. When she finishes school, she has 4 of these beds waiting for her in government contracts for her to start her business. She's already ahead of the game. I don't have to work, but I'm setting my wife up that when she gets out, she will possibly be making over $80,000 and more a year. And she just started. Do y'all understand that of the mindset of a man? I set the foundation for everybody else to eat off of me. So then when it's my time to grow, that's my legacy. I pass the mic to any of y'all. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll jump in. So do I appreciate the hunt for things to give generational wealth? I do. I take pride in Black excellence, not making excuses, understanding what wealth is, which is short-term assets minus total liabilities, total expenses. I'm an accountant, and that's all I'm about every day is working towards having generational wealth, increasing it to pass on to my son when I leave, in addition to, like Jethro Mullet was saying in the chat, life insurance. And that's why it's important, like Mr. Research was saying, to speak positivity, speak life, and focus on our wins and not the reason why we can't win, as far as what we believe as mental slaves. The more we talk about what ifs, the more we get into dysfunction, we get away from the prize, which is generational wealth. We should all take pride in knowing that there was the government, there was racist groups, poor people, and even people who look like you, who don't like you, who have actively worked against you since Emancipation Proclamation to prevent you from building anything and burning things down. You should take pride in the challenge, knowing that you should be behind forever, but you're going to be able to catch up by planning, working hard, and focusing on what goals you want to reach and reaching those goals.
Can I make this point? Let's just talk warfare real quick, real quick. Do people realize that Russians, when you go to Russia, you will not have a lot of anti-blackness? Not a lot of it. It'll be probably 4 or 5%. I lived in Romania, so I know. Here's the funny thing: the Russian doesn't really like white USA people at all. At all. But they will come to America and mingle right next to them simply because the white American just blindly opens their. Now, mind you, when you out in Russia more than a month, you'll come to realize that they don't like Ukrainians virtually at all. They tolerate them. Don't like Serbs, but they look the same color. And you, as a black ADOS person, because we've been plantation trained, we looking at this like, you mean you white people don't like you white people? And when you go over to Brighton Beach over in England, the Scots don't really like the Irish, and the Irish don't really like the England Londoners. You're like, yeah, but y'all all look the same. But here's the funny thing: the white person in America will just open their arms, and at the same time, for no apparent reason, until just recently in 2020, white people used to just blindly hate the Buffalo Soldier who helped them on the battlefield, the Black 70s veteran who helped them during the war. Just blindly hate the black guy who is helping them and their children stay alive. Then you look at the Africans and they're like, oh, Mr. ADOS man, we don't believe in none of that. Prior to the internet, it's all about Africa. You as a Liberian, the white folks don't see you as Grenada. The white folks don't see you as Jamaican. They see you as just black. All that black stuff. You ADOS people, sir, we're talking warfare. These people don't see that. Oh, you got, then all of a sudden, their children in 2019, 2018 start going to white colleges, and their friends start to betray the Africans. And for the first time, the Africans are like, what is going on? Now we're in 2020, and we're still having gender wars. We're still arguing with each other. When I tell you our Indian friends are the new black people, they hate each other back in Pakistan, but they are working together like never before. And in the chat room, on these panels, it's hard for us to have an intellectual conversation because we always get somebody who's not into the books like we are, who's not into the historical research like we are, saying, man, what BMT is talking about is crazy. That sounds stupid. What the hell, Mr. Research, talking about Russians don't like Ukraine? They don't even make no sense. You're holding us back with that type of mentality. And when it comes to marriage, once again, you don't have to participate in it. But when you date people, date women, have the balls to have sincerity and say, hey, lady, I'm going to do like Mr. Research. On our third date, we're going to have a conversation about how you see the future and whether that fits in my plan. That's how you got to do it, gentlemen. Crying about it ain't gonna change nothing, because the white woman gonna do the same thing to you. She gonna treat you like Tim Duncan. She gonna use you, get her kids, and take half your money. The Asian girl is gonna do just like Fearless or Painless, whatever his name was on YouTube. He was talking all that crazy stuff about black people, but that Filipino lady took him to the cleaners, and now he lives in a motel and don't even do YouTube videos no more. Wake up. This is not unicorn fantasy world.
We do have to remember one thing. I dated a guy who was half African and half white American. And he told me one day that he hated his father for making him black. And that was pretty much the end of our relationship, because I knew one thing.
Hey, Mr. Research, can I get you to mute up? You're getting feedback.
I knew that any child that I had was going to be a black American. And he called me several years later, saw a photo of my kids on Facebook. Question to me was, how were my daughters lighter than his daughters, and his wife had been white? So a lot of problems we have in the black community, if you reach outside of our community to try to build your generational wealth, that's fine, as long as you understand any child that you have is still going to be black. The world is going to perceive that child as black, not this biracial thing that people are going on. Because, hey, hate to say it like this, does that mean that Malia and them are like quadroons or something like that, since their grandmother was white? I mean, we got to stop this biracial shit, because we're going to have quiracial shit, tree-racial shit. I don't know what the words will be if my great-great-grandmother was white. So let's get off of that. When we're talking about generational wealth, we also have to understand one thing. getting on the topic of, do white people stick together? Do white people like each other? No, 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 no. They have classism. Classism here in the United States. There's an active plan in the United States to limit the amount of generational wealth that the middle class can pass on. If they are doing that to each other, this is a game of chess. We have to be even more mindful of the loopholes that are readily available to take that generational wealth. Taxes are a big, huge part that you have to put into your mind when you're talking about building generational wealth. There's a thing called inheritance tax. So you have to plan for that. Many of us, this is why I said marriage is a burden. There's a burden part of marriage. When you're raising your kids, you need to raise them in the sort of way that if you get sick, get disabled, that they will combine the household. Don't put in the mindset, I don't want to be a burden to my kids. That's what they're there for. That's what you created these kids for, to take care of you when you were no longer able to take care of yourself. And everyone gets old or they die. Those are your only choices. So if you live long enough, you will become somewhat less functional. And if your kids are trained in such a way to take you in, you will not lose your assets to the government. Because you know all these little old men that are running around at these retirement homes now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They had to sell their home and give that to the government and just turn over their little Social Security or pension check. They will not have anything to pass on to their children. See, so you also have to put that in your generational wealth planning, is that you have to be ready, willing, and able to take on your parents, take on your spouse's parents, and teach your children that will be their role, that when they get married and have kids, hey, we're in this together, we're family. Granny's gonna come stay here and help take care of the kids, help with the cooking and cleaning. That is the way you see other cultures create generational wealth and pass it on.
No, that's correct.
And that's a burden to know that you might have to have your in-laws live with you, but it's part of successfully building generational wealth.
Like I know, and that's true. I usually have it where I told a younger man and his wife, you know what I'm saying, when he said that, hey, you know, he's gonna probably turn over his dad to the old folks home. So why? He said he can't stay by himself. I said, so why don't y'all? I said he can't stay by himself, but can your kids stay by themselves? And he's like, no. And I said, well, there you go. I just fixed your problem. Take your dad, have him stay with y'all, and all he has to do is walk outside when the kids get off the bus and bring them inside. And if you already have lunch set up or whatever, you get what I'm saying? Like, bam, you just handled your problem, so y'all don't have to get off of work or rush or get a ticket. The granddaddy can do that. You know what I mean? You can literally put your granddaddy in that role to go pick up the kids from school. Also, you could take his house. Y'all can literally set it up for rent. His house is only about, what's it like? It was like, what, about 10 minutes outside of DC? I'm like, who wouldn't want that? If they got a job in DC, who wouldn't want to get a house that they could just rent? All you got to do is just go buy it. So now you're a property owner. Y'all so quick to throw away your inheritance all for convenience. And that's why y'all don't win. You don't. You just don't win at that. So there has to be a certain type of mind state. We got one more question. And we got one.
What up, Red Pill? Finance.
Oh yeah.
Go for number 3.
I do apologize.
It's all good, man.
Red Pill, what's your thoughts on that?
I think a lot of people think short term, because when I talk to a lot of people my age, it's more of finding the new jug or the new hustle. And when I present to them that the the black community network will be zero in not in like a few years, and a lot of us don't even know that or even have the plan to do anything about that. And as our people, a lot of us don't even want to be susceptible to like the government to what they have to do. So I mean, if you don't have any money coming in as a community, you're susceptible to other groups taking advantage of you. So at the end of the day, we really as a collective have to really look into that. And like as far as like appreciating the hunt, I mean, I'm not to where I want to be at just yet, but I do appreciate the hunt, even though it do be hard sometimes. But I do really appreciate the hunt as far as like developing myself and like self improvement. So I would have to agree with that.
Mr.
Let me
Research,
let me blow your mind real.
go ahead. Go ahead,
Let me
Mr.
blow
Research.
your mind real quick, young brother. Where do you think the hobos come from? Where do you think the guys, the old guys who are riding teenage dirt bikes, uh, the gray hair guys who are still standing on the corner, where do you think those come from?
Communities like that, as far as like working a regular 9 to 5, not really progressing to learn new skills.
Okay, so let me make this suggestion. M- As a dude from the streets, most of those dudes, I've lived in New York, Chicago, Cali, Atlanta. Most of those dudes were hustlers who lived off the hustle for too long. Let me say it again. Most of those dudes, when you look back at their teenage years, their 20s and their 30s, they were doing well off of a hustle that had them on point, screwing chicks. And here's the problem: time passed by, and things changed. The culture of things changed, and they got caught in a hustle. Many dudes will sit up here, hustle, catch cases, and as long as the current money was coming in, I ain't worried about getting that expunged from my record. That ain't nothing. I'm doing good. Then the hustle started changing, ending. Even the tech people back in the day, young brother, the tech people, what happened to IBM dudes? What happened to the Compact dudes? What happened to the HP dudes? They got caught. Tech took a dive. Tech companies folded for the second time. Happened in the web van days, happened in .com, happened in '08. This is the fourth rebirth of tech. But then you'll hear dudes say, "Nah, man, this is the new thing. Tech gonna be around forever." If the Indians take over tech and ship it all to India, what are the Americans gonna do?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Silicon Valley will fall. And I live next door to Silicon Valley. So my point is, brother, long-term moves, no matter what moves you make, will protect you. These short-term moves, there's a hobo on the street that got a great story on how he had it all at one point in time. It don't work like that.
But
I was in the dope game and I switched up because I saw you gotta change up. You cannot sit in the same scenario talking about I'm winning. When you're winning, something's wrong. You got to start looking at it.
I I think that's the reason why, because screen learning. I got to get you to one day come over and sit with Mr. Research, and I always encourage y'all to go over there and talk with Mr. Research. Like I told them, a lot of us talk about policies, and that's why I told some people on X's channel, the Prophet of Thought, how you say you're a conservative, but yet you don't battle policies. Screen, you saw that. I said, well, y'all want to battle the policy, and you was there, Research. I said, well, put up $100. There's 200 of us. So what's $100 that we each put up? We put up $100 out of 200 of us. That money adds up. Pay a lawyer, and we start pushing.
No, BMT, no, BMT. You don't understand. We got to talk about it.
No,
We
fuck
got to
talking.
talk. We got to
Fuck talking.
discuss.
No. Time for talk is already done past. If you're still in the talking phase, then you done lost.
Right, I
Once
think it's about that.
once Captain screams when it comes out and he lays out the plan to the rest of the E7s, guess what? Talking doesn't stop. It's either now it's put up or it's shut up. And y'all gotta understand, man. Other generations, they done seen and know the blueprint. Everybody by 2020 already knows the blueprint. With the government going the way it is right now, it's a dog fight. It's either you going to be subservient or you going to be a conqueror. And right now, there's very few conquerors now. Conquerors don't wait for people to get their shit together. Conquerors just go. So when I hear people getting mad at me when I talk about, hey, you guys, let's go buy up 2 or 3 houses. Let's go hire. I don't care if it's a woman, but if she has the access, listen, we hire her. She go gets the houses. We take them, research. Whenever you got people, send them over to us. We'll put them in these houses. They can rent out the rooms. Guess what? When we get the money, we'll pay off one of the houses, go get another house. We'll keep it going. We'll buy up all the houses in the block. I just told y'all what the Dominicans just did. And so the problem is they thought generational, not individual. Individual will only take you but so far. But at the end of the day, Neo could not beat Smith. Smith became the collective. Neo was just the individual. Just since some of y'all like talking about pills, go watch The Matrix. Who won, Smith or Neo? Truly, just go watch it. Because no matter how much cool shit Neo did, at the end of the day, Smith said, you are one. We are many. We can all do what you do, buddy. You may be able to do it grandioso, but guess what? There's more of us. After a while, Neo started learning, yo, I'm just getting my ass whooped. I'm tiring out. Every time I take down 1 or 100 of them, 4 more come. You don't beat the collective. No one. But when he has his own family, it's not so bad. Like I said, man, this is why I'm saying I'm done trying to train the dog that wants to keep eating his own vomit. Lick your own ass. I'm just not doing it. We got the last one. I promise you. We got the last one. I got some good news for you, Screen. You're gonna really like it after the show. All content creators, I want you, if you are a serious content creator, I want you to email me for a business game-changing thing that can help your channel. Content creators, if you are serious, don't waste my time. Help support Black business. If you want to upgrade your content, you really want to talk about making power moves, blackbrother123@gmail.com. And literally, let's make those moves. Let's make those moves. I've been networking with Parkland Media. He networks with me. We share our content. We support each other. Our channels have been growing. But we follow the system that we make. Because we follow the system, we're doing just fine. I'm not above the system. Neither is Parkland. But we understand the system that we make is a standard that we both have to keep. If he says, hey, we got something to do in 30 minutes, this show only goes for 30 minutes. Because that's what my partner said. So we're going to knock out this last one. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is a whole grandiose of everything that y'all literally can come. I've already got a few people saying, hey, thank y'all if y'all want to do y'all videos. I mean, make sure y'all do it correctly and make sure you get our names right when y'all do our content about what we do. Also, again, happy birthday to MOT, man of tomorrow. Happy birthday, brother. Let me go ahead and do that. And you know, the crazy thing, MOT is working on his birthday. That is crazy. That literally a man is working on his birthday. The last one, but never least. Do men and women competing with each other? You're trying to get us all in trouble, Screen, but I'll ask this question. Do men and women competing with each other for things like employment, money, real estate, and positions make us strong or wrong? Do men and women your women in your community competing for a job that is not based on a gender, but literally just off of the merit of skill and talent, employment and money in real estate, does that make us strong or wrong? Who would like to take that first? Because I got my belief, you know what I'm saying? But I like to know what y'all got to say.
Well, Red Pill Finance, you've been kind of going last every
we can talk about
time.
that.
Do you want to kick this
Yeah,
off?
yeah, I'll go ahead. Hold on, give me one moment. I feel like it's wrong. As far as like, I forgot who said that quote about competition, but um working together is the best thing at the end of the day. Men and women actually competing for real estate jobs is not really a good thing at the end of the day, because to be real with you, like, we have our positions that we should play. And I mean, at the end of the day, men make more money in as far as employment is concerned, and as far as like real estate, and which is very important at the end of the day, because when you look at it, as men, as we bring in more income, we as a collective can do way better.
Okay. Shout out to Seven Project, brother. We gotta email me, man. Seven, it's been a while since we talked. Shout out to D Darrell. D Darrell, I just want you to know they hate you more than ever now. On they definitely hate you. And I'm pretty sure Screen gonna get hated too. So Red Pill says that's wrong. Men and women shouldn't compete. Okay. All right. And he said that men should be working as a collective. What's your thought on that? What's your thought about that, Screen? Do you think that men and women in this day and age, competing for employment, money, real estate, and positions, do you think that makes us, as a community more weak or more stronger? What's your thoughts?
I think it makes us strong, because if you're competing, you're actively seeking. And if you lose, you lose. But if you're competing, you're not giving up. You're fighting. If you're not competing, then you're more than likely sitting around complaining or waiting for something to be given to you. And as we know, nothing is going to be given to you. We should look at it, you win some, you lose some. The only obligation you have is to your children and your significant other. And you go out in the world, especially when you're head of household, you're the breadwinner, you go out in the world and you're competing against the world. You can't give the world to your children or your wife or your husband if you're not actively competing to get said world to pass on. There are so many people that when they die, all they leave their family is alone, because they don't want to compete. They want to have excuses. They have learned helplessness, accepted powerlessness, and they have somewhat of a defeatist mindset. They have defeatist in their voice, defeatist in their words, defeatist in their actions. And when I was growing up, those people would say, we black, we ain't nothing, we ain't never gonna be nothing. These white folks run everything. And so they divulged into pleasure-seeking activities such as drugs, alcohol. And if you remember, in the 80s, a lot of us got taken out by the crack era because we wanted to have escapism, because we didn't want to compete, because of past atrocities against us. Competing with each other, it makes us better, because the best person wins. And as long as you don't give up, you'll win eventually one day. See, it's not do black men and black women competing with each other for things. It's do men and women, because we are all in this race, whether you want to run it or not. So if you don't want to run the race on a road, you're going to be running the race on a treadmill. And if you're running the race on a treadmill, you're going to be going nowhere fast. Hooah.
Cool. I want to bring up something. I got this from the idea came from looking at doggone when I saw my brother's seventh came in. When seventh came in, I thought about this really, really frequently. Okay. That who were the leaders of the X-Men? Who were the leaders of the X-Men? Does anybody know?
Wolverine
Oh no, it was well,
on the dude in the
you really
wheelchair,
can't
right?
count Professor Xavier because he was kind of like the head. So I would say the leader was Cyclops. He's evil now. He's a bad guy now. And second in command was Storm.
Boom.
A lot of people sleep on Storm. Storm is damn near a god.
Now let's look at that. Nobody ever wants to look at. Everybody will look at Cyclops, but the majority of the missions, like the big galactic missions, was Storm. She did majority of, but she was at God level. She was an Omega level mutant. Like her powers were literally she could control even storms in space. Like that's crazy. Who knew that there were storms in space? But
create life.
So
Crazy.
she literally. Now the thing about it was this, mind you, black people, we didn't make the X-Men. That was made by
Mm-hmm.
that was made by Stan Lee. He made that. Now, but he made it
Mm-hmm.
where literally the second in command wasn't another man, it was Storm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, in Africa, they called her, they thought she was a god. They're like, how the fuck woman just keeps on doing all the
kind of is. She could control the weather.
Technically, she is a god. Technically, Storm would actually have been a living god. Now, did Cyclops ever feel less than a man around Storm? Like he was less than a man, that he wasn't as good, that he was less of a leader? No. If anything, he even told them, he said, I just have to step up and be better. Even though that she can make boats and strike me from anywhere else, even though she can make wind, cause hurricanes, do all that stuff, Cyclops knew that, I just have to be better than her. She can one-shot anybody she wants, but literally that never stopped Cyclops from wanting to compete with her. And for that, a lot of the men in the Marvel universe wanted her. Not because, she was just some hot chick, but for the fact that literally they respected the power that came along that she was bringing. She was a ruler. They understand that. So when I tell men that, listen, being in competition with a woman is not a bad thing. It just makes it should thrive you want to. I remember at church, the pastor would say, y'all men, don't let the women outspend you in the offering plate. The women would put out 5s and 10s. Some of the brothers would just put out $1 and stuff. So the women would just put out 5s and 10s and stuff. And some of the older men would say, oh, hell no. They'll go dig into their wallet and pull out 20s. But they didn't do it they did it as this is how it should be. But unknowing to a lot of us as children, the fundamental building of the church was steadily growing because we just were competing just to keep the money of the church, overhead of the church, growing up and strong. Oh yeah. Is that? Oh yeah. She was a pantheon. Technically, she would have been. So, like I said, I'm gonna go do some comic. We're gonna do some comic book lore. I'm gonna hit up my brother's Seventh Project. Make sure you email me. I think y'all would be interested. I'm gonna grab some of y'all. If y'all want us to do some comic book connections to reality and lore, I think that would be pretty dope. But literally, Wolverine, Magneto, a lot of the men. This is why I love comics. You would have an egregious amount of powerful men, but right beside them, I never seen where Superman felt inferior because Wonder Woman, who was even a better fighter than Batman, he never felt like less than a god. He said, well, shit, I just had to be better. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, and so the thing about it is when it comes to, I look at it as like I showed y'all about her going to school. You know, I have my traumatic brain injury, so I can't go to school like I want to. I still try to do some schooling, and I learn skills and trade. That's where I'm at now. But as far as it goes, I watch her. She does an exam every week. She has to memorize 100 to 200 phrases, bones, different other things every other day. I don't know how the hell she's doing it, but that is the craziness of the medical field. You literally are always on the go. So I say, well, shit, if she can do that, so I go work harder physically, and well, babe, what do you need? I would like to go get a. Oh, thank you, T Black. I would like to go get. I want to get some beds. I said, okay. I said, not only that, I'll raise you one. How about I give you some access to the VA? Because there's a lot of veterans that have bone and muscle problem. Really? You see, I'm meeting her. Though she's competing she has the smarts. I have the network smarts, but we're meeting each other. And Red, you talk about, hey, building up of a household. That's how a household builds. Screen don't feel no type of way if his household, if y'all household, if y'all woman says, guess what? I just got a raise. I went from making $21 an hour to making $50 an hour, but yet you're making only like $15 an hour. Would that make you, as a man or your manhood, feel any less than? No. That just means more money is coming into your home. If properly built, it's still your money. But if she truly does understand and cherish you, she's gonna be like, well, guess what, babe? You remember how you was trying to get that license for that cleaning business? We got enough money now. We can invest in your cleaning business so you don't have to work there no more. You can go do your own job. Hell, let's go down there and go get you a van. Think. You got to learn to take every resource and use it to your availability. That's why I had to bring up the Storm and the Cyclops. Cyclops was already, Storm was already a god, and granted, Cyclops, he inspired people, but he didn't feel no less than a leader around Storm. She could have killed anybody for. How many times did she fry damn T'Challa's ass? And he has vibranium. But however, she always knew, I'm here to back you up. Make sure you back me up. And mind you, she beat the Warlock. So actually, she was the leader of the
leader of the Morlocks. Yeah.
Yeah. So literally, it was over 3 doggone factions, but she still supported. She was over Wakanda, X-Men, and also the Morlocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's kind of piggyback.
Go ahead.
It's kind of piggyback off what you're saying. When I was in command, I wasn't the fastest person. I also wasn't the strongest person. Being a leader is about motivating and guiding others to be better, no matter what the gender is. There were even people who they weren't field artillery. They were infantry. There were people who were medics. I had people who were mechanics. My job was to ultimately be responsible for what my unit did and failed to do. And in doing that, I helped train the individual soldiers so that the unit was whole. And that's what a lot of people fail. They want women to be less than. They want to complain on their shortcomings. They also want to make excuses. It's all about the unit. Now, if you don't have any children, you're not married, then you are the unit, and it's of course understood that you're going to put yourself first before any other collective. But if you're a part of a unit, the unit is only as strong as the individual parts, which is why BMT is saying he's helping his wife with her education. And you also have to accept that people have free will. So even though you've built someone up because you selfishly take pride in building them up and caring for them, if they ever want to leave the unit, then fine, leave. But myself as a leader, I know that no matter who comes into my circle, I can build them up. So I'm not going to use the fact that they may leave one day as a reason and justify not wanting to support someone else's growth, support someone else, because even if someone does go through divorce court, and at this point I'm kind of ranting, if someone does go through divorce court and they have custody of your children, if you still support and build them up, they're taking care of your children. They're taking care of those who are going to have a legacy, who are going to be here when you're gone. So by hurt, if you're trying to hurt your child's mother, your ex-wife, trying to hinder them or hinder her or him or whoever from being prosperous, you hurt your children because your children are there. And if you feel that someone is doing your children wrong, then you can use the legal system to get your children away and take custody. There's so many choices that we have. And there's also choices that we don't have. But we got to focus on what makes us strong and makes us powerful. We all make choices, and in the end, our choices make us. So you have to decide, do you want to be a leader or do you want to be led? The choice is yours.
Right. I want y'all to understand, like, y'all, one of my secrets to the channel is in running a business. If you really want to be successful, know your strengths. Know your strengths and know your weaknesses very well. I don't know everything, but I do know how to go to people like Screen, Kai, Jay, Robbie, Dana, Healthy, Nikki. There's so many people that work and help out with BMT. That's what makes it so. That's what makes our networks with all our channels and all our stuff so great and grandiose. Because it's not just one of us; it's like many of us. And where another one of us comes a lack, and we'll call each other up or email or FaceTime or whatever, and say, "Yo, how do you do this?" All right, hey, so this is how you do it. And I'll tell you, like, I have no problem hitting up Screen, and I will sit there patiently. He will troubleshoot me through everything. It's just knowing that at the end of the day, we're still going to get there. Not just sit there blindly, and that's sometimes that can hurt you. That can really hurt you. You got to have a humbleness about learning how to, like I said, I don't have a problem with a woman telling me how to do something. I don't. If she knows how to do it, then okay. Teach me. I remember when I was in the dojo. Guess what? There was a woman that knew she was better at grappling. A lot of guys felt some type of way. I ain't gonna go over there. The hell with that. I had no problem asking her, could you show me how to do this armbar? Could you show me how to do that? And I promise you, every time I went into those mats, you could not armbar me because the best armbar was a female, and she taught me. But everybody mistaken her size as a weakness. But once you get put in a certain lock, it's hard to get out unless you want to dislocate yourself. And she was very good. She was an Israeli. And that's all they like to do is fight. So, but I was humble enough to literally submit to respecting her as my master. If somebody's at that level of strength, whether they be male or female, you will respect them. That's why I like martial arts. That's why I like animes. Like they literally, it's not about the sex. It's about the skill. But we're gonna wrap it up. Don't want to go over the time. We'll hit y'all guys up. I told you guys, email me. I have a grandioso thing that can help y'all. Shout out to Raw B. Literally, she is coming in as the new editor for the channel. And literally, if y'all do need an editor for your channel, hit me up. That can make up the world of a difference. That can make up the world of a difference in how your channel will grow. Most big name channels, guess what they have? An editor. They have an editor. They have somebody that does the technical stuff. Y'all gotta understand, it's not enough just to get in front of a camera. It's a different level when you have somebody behind the screen, behind the scenes. Okay, so give me these 4 pictures, send me this music, and let me set it up so that way it would make your stuff more presentable to actually want to be. That's how it works. Y'all think like y'all hear radio stations? That's all they do. They have a person who does the cleanup, the editing, the shuffling of the music, taking out the distortion, all this stuff. There's more things to. That's why I say when y'all really get serious about business, you have to get the right people for a job. The captain can't be a captain if you don't got a crew. If you don't got the people that can hoist and take care of the mass, do the stuff. What do you think Jack Sparrow had to do? He said, "You can't sail to the end of the world, Jack, if you don't got a crew. You ain't gonna make it." So guess what Jack had to do? Go get a crew. They weren't the best crew, but he had a crew to make it. So that's all I got to say, you guys. Shout out to Screen Learning. I want to make sure y'all guys know if y'all want to find more of his content. And shout out to brother Red Pill Finance for coming through. Always a good brother coming through.
It's always good to hear you, man. You know.
Hey man, like I said, I'm glad that you joined the Patreon. And y'all can get your own benefit of what y'all want to talk about. I do ask the people, hey, send me messages. I do get them. Do get to check them. We're still clean. We've been cleaning it up. Parkland Media. I love coming here when I want to get away from the buffoonery. And literally, he goes into a whole slew of things that literally you can go ahead and look into. Investments in EPA approved disinfectant. So for those of y'all who want to make investments, hit up Parkland Media. He goes over talking about politics. He goes over talking about everything. Everything. There is no sacred cow. Financial Friday. True Crime Tuesday. Thoughtful Thursdays. He has all of that. And I mean, that's the stuff that y'all should want to be hearing. Somebody has stuff. I be trying to low-key copy from him on some of his stuff. Not out of and that's out of respect because I know that he got his stuff together. So find people that know where they're going and what they're trying to do. If it had not been for him, I probably would not have started my Patreon. He was like, BMT, your stuff, you need to be doing this. And I said, let me shut up and get to it. So, you guys, check him out, support him. He has a membership only for certain stuff that literally only memberships can touch. Like I said, I'll see you guys later. This is BMT along with Parkland Media. Peace.
And Real Pill Finance.
Oh, and Red Pill Finance. I'm sorry about that. Red Pill Finance. I'm so used to just throwing out the content creator. But however, Real Pill Finance came through.
Man, it's all good, man. You know,
Red Pill Finance came through and stood his ground. And that was good. That you stood your ground. Shout out to all the mods in the chat. Y'all guys were on y'all stuff. Y'all made sure to stay respectful. You know, and a lot of y'all guys, like I said, you can always come to the Patreon. It's more so of your stomping ground to where y'all can talk about stuff. On panels, there are nobody there. It's just us talking about everything. And literally, we go over a whole slew of stuff. Fridays is going to be pretty interesting. We're going to be doing reviews. Content creators, we're going to be reviewing over certain dating sites. Which one are applicable? Which one?
So
us as the content creator, we can't show it because YouTube be freaking out like, oh hell no. But for the content creators, we'll go over that. We will, if our people, if the Patreon, if you're there for the live, and you say email me the site, we will do that. If you are a patron, we will.
Oh, what time you plan on doing that?
I think I'm gonna email it and put it out there. But what time do you think we should do that show? screen, the Patreon show. That's gonna be a good one.
Oh, for what?
We're gonna be reviewing. We're gonna be reviewing sites and like Tinder.
We'll
With
have
like
to
Tinder profiles.
Oh no, something way more higher tier than that.
we'll have to hash that out in the background.
Oh,
That has to be hashed out in the background.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, wait,
It will be
background.
hashed out in the background.
Oh, I want to kind of do a plug right fast, if you don't mind.
Yes,
So, right after this, I'm going to do my Thoughtful Thursday. Today Thursday?
yes, it is. It is Thursday.
Okay, yeah, today's Thursday. I'm going to do my Thoughtful Thursday. I'm going to do a reaction to Jenny Ma talking about the Asian community and Black Lives Matter. I'm going to do a reaction to that. That's going to be in my Patreon and channel membership. Links are in my About section on Parkland Media channel. Definitely be there so you don't miss out.
Okay. I put this out here. I put his link right here. Y'all can grab that. BMT already put it out there for my brother. So y'all already know he's going to be firing up. I got to go cook for the kids. But literally, go over to Parkland Media. He's pretty straightforward. I see Red Pill like, whoa. Y'all talk about that on the Patreon? The first Patreon episode, there were too many goddamn sex toys being thrown in front of the cameras.
Yeah, gotta look crazy.
We got they had to shut us down. Like they
They
like,
shut down?
whoa. Why are all these dildos on the camera? Like, well, time for us to take this down. I see y'all don't know how to read the contract, but it's okay. We're learning. We're learning here.
Yeah, gotta look crazy.
But that's why I like Patreon. Literally, we can say and go over what we want to go over. So we'll see you guys later. I'm gonna see if I go get Classic Ruby for this one, because she's always so critical of everything. She was fighting us with that Mantha one. That Mantha one, she was not gonna be moved.
She's a kept woman.
She's shit.
Okay, get it straight. Yeah, she revealed a lot during that Patreon show. That was a real eye opener. I learned a lot about everybody who was on the panel, from J.I., yourself, myself. I think Jean, she showed up. Classic Ruby. We all learned a lot about each other. Yes. Everybody respects each other. That's the main thing, because we could have a informal multi-channel network by supporting each other, because when it comes to, like, let's say Black YouTube, we all want to eat each other but not eat with each other. And that's the problem a lot of us face. People will grow to get us to a certain point, and now that they no longer want to support. They just kind of want to do their own thing. And then what ends up happening is their enemies come, flag down videos, flag down channels, and now they're trying to, do that thing. But we can all eat with each other instead of eating on each other with a multi-channel network, especially if all the 19 people in the chat go to BMT's Patreon, become a sponsor, support him, because he'll turn around and support you, especially if you have a business, you start a YouTube channel or whatever you got going on. He supports us, and he'll be able to support us better with things that he has coming down the pipeline if we give him our support, instead of just attending the shows, commenting it in chat, and just kind of grandstanding. So definitely we got to do that. Support business-minded talk. Support. Don't sit on the sidelines. Definitely get in the game and help us all grow, so we can all build a better community on here.
Well, you have a Patreon as well?
Yeah. He's the one that taught me how to do it.
I do. I do have a Patreon.
Patreon in there, dude.
Okay.
Like I said, if you all guys are, like, for you, I would definitely strongly suggest you, if y'all are into business, credit, money, and learning about different types of exclusive stuff, I'm gonna tell you right now, Parkland is the guy that y'all need to go to, especially for you, Red Finance. You're trying to go into crypto and all the other talks, that's him. If not just him, like I said, I know a lot of brothers that literally go over cryptocurrency. Also, somebody asked me what's some animes that I'm into. For a classic, I will send you to go look at Yu Yu Hakusho.
Very good taste.
Hold on, y'all like Attack on Titan?
Yes, I like Attack on Titan.
That's also great.
Okay.
Hunter x Hunter, that's another classic. If y'all need something a little bit more up to date, I would tell y'all to go look into Vinland Saga. If you have not seen that, trust me, you will thank me to go watch Vinland Saga. I plan on doing some anime reviews with some brothers on some animes that y'all might want to go look into. Or listen, if you are a red pill, for a lot of y'all, I will tell y'all to go look at this one. An anime called Shield Hero. You will thank me.
I'm gonna give that a look.
Go watch Shield Hero. Literally, he got lied on by a woman, and literally everybody in the city treats him like crap because a woman lied on him and said that she raped him. So everybody treats him like crap, and he became bitter, angry, and hateful because a woman blocked. I was like, boy, if this is not so red pill, I don't know who made this. But literally, it's a great show.
Shout out to the 7th Project for joining my Patreon. I really appreciate it.
Shout out to 7th Project. So if y'all want to talk about some animes, we can talk about it. Like I said, that's one of the things about it. Like I like about me and Screen, we're very comfortable in talking about everything from politics, law, military, pretty much everything. I think that's a crazy thing about being a man. Like I love that I'm about my business, but also I have my stuff about gaming. People come over to my gaming channel. I know the Screen, Nun, and a lot of them, they love my gaming channel. I'm about to start the Samurai game.
Okay.
I have that, and I literally held off playing that game for y'all. I held off playing that game for y'all. So y'all will help me make the decisions in that game. It's a Japanese game where we play as a samurai called Ghost of Tsushima. And so we're going to be playing that game, and that's a really good game. And I got some games I'm going to be going over and reviewing also. So that's the thing about it. We like the direction that we're going in as for our channels and our network program. We have female channels like Robbie, The Real Dana, Fluffy, Faith. I've been watching some of her stuff.
Yeah, real good channels.
So we also have female channels that we've been also corresponding with. And see, that's the thing about that's actually what happens when you're starting to build something, where you have a whole network of all of y'all that are sharing and building on each other. So that way y'all will keep on building. So no matter what. So I like it when some people say, oh, you're not within our loop. Oh, I never wanted to be. Like, I like my loop because then that means I can go to different verses of channels and we can have talks. I'm pretty full. Like Screen can always call on me. Shout out to D DeRoe. I go over to D DeRoe channel all the time, X's channel. D DeRoe, literally, he did an amazing heartfelt show. I encourage y'all. Let me go grab that real quick. D DeRoe.
Does Red Pill Finance have a channel?
Red Pill, do you?
I actually like right now. I actually started like not too long ago, but as far as like right now, I can't really focus on that. So I'm gonna be trying.
No excuses. If you got a channel, we got to support you. You know, like I was telling somebody, she's not here for me to ask if she wants me to put her name out or not or anything. But the thing is we all start from scratch. We all start doing our content, being orators. We all start off from scratch, and we have our hiccups, we have our speed bumps. You know, don't talk down on your content. If you got a channel, put it in the chat,
right?
So we can support you and watch you grow. Because there are no you see content creators that blow up from dysfunction, and all they're doing is sitting there smoking, drinking, and talking crap about other people, not adding any value. Because your channel has the word finance in it, it's going to have some type of value to it, whether we agree with it or not. Somebody will find something beneficial for it. So don't be shy about your channel, because your channel is your business. You can make money off of YouTube. You got channel membership, you have Patreon, you have people donating to you directly through Cash App, and also through then you got the super chat. Then, people watching your commercials helps you make AdSense revenue. Then also you could do a reoccurring charge for membership in, like, let's say a Facebook group using like other payment sources. The sky's the limit on which you can also get sponsored. You can sponsor a video, someone sponsor a channel. I sell merchandise through Teesprings. You can also sell stuff for your, like, whatever business you have in real life. You can sell your services and your products through your channel. So the sky's the limit. And also I do consultation. You can also do consultation as well. Don't discount all the buffet of things that you can offer to the general public to make money, because if you're not on here to make money, you're basically wasting your time. I got it. We're all here to help other people, but you can do it monetarily and make a lot of money off of it and support yourself and leave your 9 to 5. Okay. And go from working for someone else to working for yourself. There are people, even children on here, who have become multi-millionaires simply by making content, doing reviews, reactions, doing collaborations. The sky's the limit. Don't discount yourself. I need you to put the link to your channel in the chat before we end this, so we can all scoop up your channel. Help you get to over 1,000 subs if you're not there already. Help you get to 4,000 watch hours, and even help you get monetized on other platforms and help you grow.
All right, man, that's powerful, man. To be real with you, I'm kind of like a perfectionist, so I like to make everything right. And when you first start off,
hold up, let me cut you off. You can make it right later. Right. Let us see you grow and support you on your growth. Like, let us see you make mistakes. We'll roast you. We got it. We'll roast you. But as we can be there to help you work on end cards, help you work on tags, work on thumbnails, using TubeBuddy, help you set up a Patreon, help you learn how to share links, help you to use other platforms to grow your YouTube channel, set you up with collaborations. And as you become stronger as a creator, you'll become stronger as an orator, as a business person, and you can possibly branch off and do things mainstream and do what you want to do, not what you have to do, to be able to support yourself, support your family if you have one, and support anyone else you care about. So go ahead and put it in the chat before you start talking about, well, I don't want to do it because, no, we don't want to hear that. This is about warrior mindset. Right. We're warriors. So the focus is not on what you can't do or what you don't want to do. The focus is on how to make yourself stronger, how to make yourself better, and how to improve your own agency and ultimately be on your purpose. So go ahead and drop the link to your channel in the chat. Let's focus and get on your purpose so BMT can advertise your channel so you can grow and no longer have like a seed in the soil.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate the kind words, man. I'm most definitely taking note on that.
You gotta, like I said, man, you gotta speak life. Like, listen, man, you see all these things? That was work, long work, man. But I had to keep on going. And trust me, like, I have more than one channel. But the thing about it was a lot of work, a lot of effort. And I like to go back to my old channels and look at the progression of just how far I came. I like to just go ahead and look at the progression of just how far that I started. And literally from interviews to talking with people to actually building up stuff to everything. And I watched people come and go and actually, help me build. And I don't regret. Like, you're going to start out. Listen, I started out watching O'Shea when he used to do his shows in the bathroom. Okay, I know, but see, you couldn't see that because you didn't watch it from when he started building.
Mm-hmm.
I watch a lot of these brothers when they were starting out small. That's why I say, yo, this pedigree, like right now, like I'm watching a lot of brothers starting to grow. But like what Screen told you was so true. You gotta start somewhere. It's not gonna look. Everybody's like, well, I don't want to start a business unless I look. Well, did you start the paperwork? Did you start doing the research? What did you start in? Well, I'm gonna wait till I get $10,000 or $80,000. Then I see. That's not how you do it. You just gotta start somewhere. And once you start, it gets a lot easier. Because now you're putting in the time, you're starting to build up a repetition, you're actually starting to understand what you're going to be doing, and you got to stick to what you believe in. Stick to what you believe in, the rest will come. The rest will come.
Right.
So you can do it. I'll be right here. Screen will be right here. You know, if you need some help with being on some channels to get some exposure, I got you with that. You can come out here and you can do some exposure and put out your content and speak about some stuff. But you got to have faith in yourself that, hey, I deserve and I have the right to be here and set myself up. And you do. You do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got thousands. I got over 1,000 videos on just this one channel here. So,
This is your other channel.
This is just one of the channels. I have this channel. Let's see what channels I have. This is BMT Business by Talk. Then there is BMT2 Unfiltered. See? There's also BMT2 Unfiltered. I'll show you all the channels. Like I said, I've been doing this for a while. BMT2 Unfiltered. And I believe that's over 2,000. Black Men Congregation. And that was something that me and MOT had started a long time ago. And that's the Black Men's Congregation. And then, see, like I said, we and this is long ago. See, this is long ago. Like I said, I'm not new to this stuff.
Right.
I don't care about views like how some people do. Like I've already done proved my time. I ain't trying to chase views and stuff. I'm trying to chase what I like to see. And philosophy, of comics and game and anime. See, and we also had a comic and anime channel. I just haven't been there in a while. That literally right there, we're supposed to be going right into talking about comics and anime. So yeah, and that's over 201 subscribers. So we've been doing this for quite a while, and that's just the channel. That doesn't include the podcasting and all that stuff. Can it be done? Yes. Screen is doing it. I've been doing it. A lot of y'all can do it. Don't give up. Okay?
Right.
But you got to start.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, man.
Get Parkland's email. If you literally just sit in your car and just talk and turn on the record button and just record yourself, that's something. What is it like? What is it like? 13 minutes is the amount of retention span for some watch time? 13 minutes, Parkland?
I think like at least 10 minutes. So yeah, 30 minutes is safe, especially if you're editing. So yeah, like between 10 and 13 should be the minimum. And then I mean, no offense, but no more than an hour, because people get intimidated, especially if they're new to a channel. They get kind of intimidated by seeing a real lengthy video. But like at least 10 to 13 minutes should be like the minimum. I do at least 10 minutes.
So if you're gonna do a video, start out with just 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay.
You can do 10 minutes. That's literally a car drive from work.
That is, yes.
Literally a car drive. Literally, that's a work. That's a break. Turn on. I used to do 10-minute videos. Boom. Knock them out. Go about your business. So serious. All right. So we'll see you guys later. Peace.